Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Mary Sky Rita Lee's video blog. I'm Mary Sky. Give me 1 second. I got to take some ibuprofen this morning. So anyways, I just ordered some coffee this morning, running low. So that's what I ordered this week. Coffee and paper towels. Everything else is coming in. So let's talk about prepping right now and what you can do, because a lot of people, 42 million people, didn't get food stamps this morning. They claim it's going to be retroactive when it comes back. By the way, if you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up. If you're coming back, you're welcome. So this is Coffee Time with Rita. Today we're going to be talking about, like I said, prepping. Here, let's just put this over here. There we go. So anyways, today we're going to be talking about food stamps and food benefits and the SNAP program and what the repercussions are. Now, I got an email this morning about the food banks. They're going to be stressed. They're going to be under stress. A lot of people are talking about that this food bank season, they may not be giving hams to turkeys. So be prepared. A lot of people are like, well, Thanksgiving's going to suck. Well, here's how you do it, okay? Now, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat on this channel. Okay, we all have to pull together. Okay, we have to pull together, and that is something I want to talk about. Where's my paper towels? Because I want to tell you what's going on in the world. You know what? Is this piece? This toilet paper. This works. So that piece of toilet paper. I'll blow my nose real quick. There we go. So the bottom line is right now, we're in prepping mode. That's it. Prepping mode. Now, a lot of people sit there and say, well, what can we do? Well, and sweet. Yeah, so apparently there's a problem with my internet today. Apparently my router disconnected me for some reason. Anyways, I want to get this through as fast as possible today, okay? So, basically, food stamps have been cut for 42 million. Now, my adopted brother, Ted, and others I know, like the Higgins, they're like, oh, retroactive. Yeah, well, maybe. All right. Yeah, so, but right now, there is no access in sight. You got the labor unions trying to push the Dems to reopen up. The Dems are like, no, we don't give in now. We basically get crushed in the midterms because that's what you guys want. So, it's a political ploy. They're like, we now got the base backing us because 42 million people don't have food stamps. Now, if you ever read The Naked Communist, a lot of people are saying we're like 2 or 3 numbers from communism. And, that looks really, you got the government, let's put it this way, okay? So I'm not going to belittle the President of the United States. That's not my job, all right? My job is not to sit there and say, well, this guy's a craphead and that guy's a craphead. And this guy at Project 2025 is a craphead and Stephen Miller, I hear, is a craphead. No, I'm not going to say any of that. I hear all these things from everyone else. So one guy says Stephen Miller. It looks like he was Count Dracula, but, and he was undead, but I've heard all the jokes, okay? I don't care. It rolls over me. A lot of people say, oh, you're a fake prepper. Really? Well, you think I'm a fake prepper, sir, or ma'am, or whoever you said that to me in the past where you got blocked? Let me just tell you, fake prepper, I'm the one that's got all the supplies. What about you, huh? You're probably sitting there going, I'm going hungry. Yeah, literally. And my adopted brother, Ted, he thinks we should do a daily video because he's bored, plus the fact that right now we need to basically explain what's going on to the world. So, basically, the world is hurting. And basically, you guys get a daily video because of the food shortages. Will we have food shortages? No, we won't. A lot of people say, oh, there's going to be food. No, they're not. You see, what's going to happen is the stores now don't get their $9 billion a year. And because the stores don't get their $9 billion a year, guess what happens? The stores basically are being subsidized by the government. Yeah, think about it. You, the taxpayers, are subsidizing the big corporations. When the big corporations can't get subsidized, what happens? Yeah. And what is the government doing? Well, let me tell you what the government's doing. The government's sitting here trying to build something that apparently, allegedly, I don't have the actual facts, called Palantir, which is a database for everyone that says what you buy, what you eat, what you sleep, what you fart, what you... Yeah, you get the point, okay? So basically, Palantir, right? So basically, the government's building this massive database, and apparently they want to know everything about everyone. Well, with me, I am the boring one on YouTube. People say, oh, look, she hasn't done any YouTube channels but point is, food banks is literally going to be stressing and cracking. So eventually the government may not pay the food banks, and you'll see food banks basically trying to get donations. Other organizations are going to basically be stressing too. I mean, where I live, we have food bank. We have a program that helps women, infants, children, violent people, the VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act, etc. They give food vouchers, etc., etc. When they're under stress, when they finally run out of vouchers, what happens? The door closes. They can only do restraining orders and etc. And then you got the Family Resource Center. Family Resource Center, again, they can close their doors because they don't have enough funding. A lot of people that go to them during pandemics like this are alcoholic and drug users. Yeah. So think about it from a point of view of what's going on. The government is turning around and they're like, hey, you guys, they want to know who the drug users are, who the alcoholics are. They want to implement so many things that they will know. But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, unlike Russia, which people live on like $400 a month, which money is nothing there, apparently in other places, here, everything is so expensive because of greed. And so, for example, a lot of people turn around and they have a lot on their plate. And that plate is pretty bad. And because of it, the American people need to realize that everyone's going to be hurting. It's not just about the person who gets the measly $24 a month. They have to make things. They have to recalibrate things. I mean, literally. Like, someone messaged me last night, called me a fat tub because I ate 6 enchiladas. Well, sorry, it was a full tray. And I didn't want to refrigerate it, and I was on YouTube, and I only eat one meal a day. Okay, so, I run on a treadmill all the time, too. I do got breakdowns of boxes and some other stuff, but I figured, well, Chloe's here, she can do it because she's visiting soon, so. And then you have the people in our building, all right? We got a lot of people on food stamps. They're panicking. Some of them have a buffer, some don't. My motto is, right now, is your buffer is what you make of it, okay? Let me tell you, a lot of people have messaged me and they're like, well, you said your freezer's full. Yeah, my freezers are full, okay. I just talked to Chloe about Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? Christmas can be taken care of, no problem. Thanksgiving is a different story, right? So she says, will the food bank give us turkeys? Well, there's two options. You can hold out until the end of the month and hope like heck the week before Thanksgiving, like Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving, the new deals come out and they give you a deal, say, on turkeys, hams, turduckens, chickens, or rib roast, right? Now, a lot of people say to me, okay, well, rib roast is getting more expensive by the day because it's beef, so everyone's going to be flocking for hams or turkeys. Now, if they decide pork needs to go up, they're going to raise pork prices. But point is, a lot of you preppers out there have to prep properly. This is why I kept telling you, and then I get emails, oh, you're a fake prepper, and, yada, yada, yada. Fake prepper, right. Problem is, people didn't realize what was coming down the pipe. And that is what's going on, is what came down the pipe. And that is pretty bad when you look at it from a point of view that when you sit there and you make your orders once a week. I do it on Mondays. I go, okay, what do I need? I reorganize the pantry on the bottom every week. I go through and I make we have pork chops, right? There is no pork chops right now. There is no pork chops. What do I need? I need to go send Chloe to the store on Monday. When she comes in and buys some pork chops. I'm going to make up a batch of pork chops. I found that Alfredo sauce and pork chops pair well together. Fortunately, I don't have chicken. Chicken's not on sale this week. It's pork chops. And I only take advantage of the sales. I say take advantage, meaning whatever's on sale, I buy. All right, if my freezer space has it. Right now, I've rotated my food out, and I'm trying to eat. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make room this month for turkeys. And that's the thing. People sit there and say, well, aren't you worried? Yeah, I'm worried. I'm not worried about everything. I got all my bills paid this month just in case. The phone bill, I was time complaining. Chloe turned around and Chloe finally said to me, how much is the flip phone going to cost? Well, about $20 a month. if the government shuts down. And it did. And she said, well, when does the government, but I said that could be, even though you're receiving food stamps, some people say it's prepaid. So basically it means it doesn't matter. You may still get your phone service. But as a backup, you better have a backup. With me, of course, I have a backup right now. And that is, I had to something earlier. There goes. Amazon's complaining about something, They're like, oh, your order is, okay, let me see. The reason my order is, because, they're trying to take payment out now for an order to be shipped. And yet, the problem with Amazon is they turn around and they say orders are being shipped, right? It's like, what, $23 or something? It's like, dude. So I just placed an order for coffee, I think it was. And, right here, right? 2 coffees and, right. So, payment revision. So they want payment revisions because I had my card put on lock mode. I'll take care of it, man. Because, they're like, oh, the order will be shipped off Thursday. So why are they needing payment now, right? So basically they say they take it out when they're ready, right? This is a fraud. Because the other day Chloe said to me, she was asking a question, and I said, look, you got 3 pre-orders left for Christmas, right? So what happened? We decided, as she told me this morning on the radio, by the way, the radios are back up. The radio is working again. I like our cell radio. Finally, we get to use them after paying for them. It's been, 6 weeks, and she's like, I gotta find the charger. Well, we had paid like $60 for a replacement charger, so it better work. So, basically, Chloe's going to be in the kitchen today. She's cooking where she's at. But anyways, back to the prepping thing. Chloe even realizes we have to prep. And by the way, Chloe's done an amazing job prepping. And I want to tell you guys, let me see, can I actually activate this with me to talk to you guys? Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. So, first of all, Chloe went ahead. Her cards, like I said, they're saying orders. Let me see here. Okay, so apparently two of Chloe's orders have shipped, which means, so apparently 2 of Chloe's orders have shipped, so that means, let me see here, so Chloe's got soups still coming, and she's got, it's moving down the list. I mean, her pre-order list is getting smaller and smaller by the day, so, anyways, so what Chloe ordered, okay, I want to show you what tell you what Chloe ordered, because Chloe's happy about it. She got a deal on, low-fat cream of mushroom soup. We use it for cooking, and low-fat cream of and cream of mushroom soup. And then she got 2 boxes of gravy bones, and she bought, that's from Moppy. And she got chicken noodle soup too. So she went with Amazon brands at 70 cents, and so it worked really well for what she needed. That was just for her. No, hold on, let's just move this there so I can see the tab. There we go. And then for Walmart, let me just tell you about Walmart. Okay, so Wally World, she bought shampoo and conditioner for us, and because she's trying to be part of the household, which she wants to. She's working to come back. Anyway, she bought shampoo and conditioner, razor blades, and light bulbs. Now, the light bulbs are great because she bought 2 stacks of, I think it was 2 stacks of non-dimmable 36-pack of light bulbs. So you guys sit there and you say, okay, so basically what it is, she bought the light bulbs, and that's 18-year light bulbs. Why did we do it 18-year light bulbs? Because Chloe wants to make sure we don't have to replace them anytime soon. And now, I know my adopted brother, Ted, would be like, well, money is tight. Why not? Well, money may be tight, but think about it. We don't have to buy light bulbs, okay? That's the thing. We can focus on laundry detergent. We can focus on shampoo, conditioner, and dish soap when we need it. I've only used in 2 months 2 bottles of dish soap out of 16. So that tells you right there that we are stocked. Garbage bags, we should be good for about 3 months. But we got more coming in anyway, so we got stocks of stuff. Why? Because it's better to have than not to run out. And, the less we need to buy, the better. And so we're prepping for those things. Now, a lot of people say, well, you could have saved money on light bulbs. Well, on my order, I ordered, for prepping purposes, light bulbs too. Two 24 packs of 18-year light bulbs from Amazon, due to the fact that I want to make sure we had some light bulbs too. And if Chloe's buying light bulbs, I told her I'd meet her needs and do light bulbs. Then there was computer paper. Now, my adopted brother is always saying, "Oh, you're printing out a whole tree," pretty much. Yes, I have a lot of work. And then I bought some razor blades too, and shaving gel, and light bulbs. And then one of the things I couldn't help but keep in the prepping supplies, which my family's always joking about, was the soap. Now, I found bar soap 8 packs on Amazon for $4. So I couldn't pass up $4. So that's like 24 soaps. And I got one of Zest, one of Coast, and one Zest coconut. So, we got 3 types of soap. And that was $12. And then I bought a 2-pack, which they forced me to do, which was like $4.99 each for it cost me like $8 with shipping for 2 special SanDisk 32 gig flash drives for transferring files to my desktop to my laptop so I can use spreadsheets. And then the other orders I pay-laced was at 2 karaoke machines. The old lady upstairs paid for them, so it's hers. That's for her grandkids. So she gave me the money. I put it back in the bank. I also bought a TV from Best Buy for her. But that means she paid me for it, so it's her TV. I'm just basically, she doesn't, and that's where I asked my adopted brother, as a prepper, I got a project for you. He knows what it is, probably, figure it out. Then for me, I ordered chicken noodle soup, Amazon Basic, and then cream of chicken soup by the Campbell's. And they're now limiting you as a prepper on your supplies because of the price. And then other items I do not want to talk about because it's not prepping really, it's just, yeah. And then I got the replacement computer printer that failed, and then my other preps are coming in. A lot of people have asked about, the deals on ramen, and that's something I highly recommend you guys stockpile is ramen all the time because you can eat it even if it's cheap. I mean, you can get a 12-pack of cup of noodles. The instant lunch, as they call it, for like $5.50 or $5.76. So I usually buy 5 or 6 cases. Chloe just bought 10 cases herself recently. She doesn't want to go hungry, so she's like, I'm buying 10 cases. So we got another 10 cases coming for her because she doesn't want to go hungry, but she's doing the right thing by buying it because of the issue. So there you have it on that. That issue. So yeah, anywho, so yeah, anyways, we're just basically, and then we're buying what we need, which is right now coffee and then other things. And I told Chloe we have to talk because Monday when she comes in, she'll bring in milk. She'll bring in like a gallon or 2. She'll run to the store and get some on the way up here. And so I'll have at least a gallon of milk or 2 gallons on hand. And we'll be fine, on that aspect for the next, how long. But I'm also utilizing everything we have because we're in prepping mode. A lot of people said, oh, you didn't expect the government to shut down. Actually, I did. But I didn't expect it to go long. I mean, we're on, day 31 of the longest was 35 days. And they're not talking, this one's going to supersede it because no one wants to budge. I mean, look. The longer they delay this, the longer people are going to go in. I mean, look, I have a gut feeling. I said this, and I expect you all, including Sister Pee-wee. I assume Pee-wee's going to watch this a little later while she's cleaning. I love Sister Pee-wee dearly. Love you, sis. Anyways, the point is she's going to read this and basically realize or watch this while she's cleaning probably or listening to me. And one of my gut feelings is I think they're going to wait till after the elections of Tuesday to make a decision. Now, what was it? Chris, he came by yesterday online with me, moderator Chris, Sigma, And he was like, oh, they're going to vote on Monday. Yeah, they may not. I mean, literally, you don't know what they're thinking. I mean, literally, if they could sell you up River Crisp or to get more gold in their own pockets, they would. And, the thing is, the American people, you got to ask yourself, what part are you in? Are you in for, cutting funds? Because if you're saying, oh, well, that's great, we're cutting Medicaid and food stamps. Yeah, until you basically find out it happens to you, then what do you do? I mean, literally. And then we hear he wants to cancel midterms and go to war with Venezuela. Now, I was watching a video last night about that. Cancel a war to go to Venezuela. No. I mean, cancel the elections to go to Venezuela. I mean, think about it. I mean, literally, I've seen a couple vids last night. But the thing is I'm not really worried about that. And then you got Brother Ted. Like I said, I got a project for him. I'll probably tell you guys what it is. So the old lady who bought the karaoke machines and the TVs. She how can I say this without anyways, she's worried too. She gets like $40 a month food stamps as a buffer. Now she doesn't have it, and I said to her, well, you have $40. You're $128 less. She saved money, by the way, for Christmas for 2 karaoke. 128 was like 65. I would have got something different, but this is what she requested, and it's the family has to deal with the cheap karaoke. And then she bought herself a TV, right? Now Chloe's like, we should get a TV too, but the problem is we have to wait and see, and I haven't even checked the deals yet on the TVs because frankly, I'm always busy on that stuff. So I have like 2 different things I'm usually doing, and one is Walmart, and the other one is Amazon, and then the third one is something else, But anyways, point is there we go. Point is when it comes to prepping, you guys haven't listened to me. I said you prep for any type of emergencies. You guys thought, oh yeah, that's okay. Like Chris said last night, oh, just use my credit. Good, use your credit until the government says no more and you can't pay your bill. I mean, literally. The thing is, credit is something you can get trapped down that rabbit hole. Credit is something you don't want to use unless it's a dire emergency. Then you better basically find a way to pay off the bill. Now, the thing is, everyone has their own opinions of how to do things. I won't use credit because I find it if you can't pay cash, then it doesn't matter. But there's a lot of people out there that say, well, we need this or we need that. The point is you may need it. I may not need it. The thing is, I don't need to talk about that. What I need to talk about right now is what's going to happen for the future. And that's the thing. The future is not bright because the future is disastrous, and I mean, literally it is what it is. I mean, when you look at everything coming down the pipe, you have to ask yourself, like, what's going to happen? And a lot of people are like, well, what will happen? And it's like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. You see? So to me, you just got to either take in the shorts or basically wait and see what happens. And to me, waiting to see what happens is the best course of action currently, because like I said, you got to prep. And with me, of course, talking to like I said, Brother Ted and others, it shows that we, the American people, need to realize that right now we're hurting, and we are going to be hurting for a long time. And the best course of action to fix that is to fix it in a different way. Yeah. So, to me, you got to ask yourself, how much are you willing to take, to get things moving along? And to me, it's scary because a lot of people out there, they're just waiting patiently. And it's hard. And yeah, so you have to make decisions, and those decisions you have to make. Yeah. Because eventually you're going to have to tighten your bootstraps and say enough's enough, you know? And you're going to have to look at the big picture. Yeah. And so a lot of people sit there and they say, well, what can we do? And it's like, what you can't do is sit around and wait for a miracle. Yeah. So, and then as I wanted to share with you a little project that I want to talk about, that I love talking about, is when it comes to prepping, for example. When you have a wish list like Amazon, Walmart, or Target, yeah, I always keep my shopping cart with stuff I'm going to buy, so it's always ready to go for the previous month, and I print them out like once a month and go through them. And usually it works really well. And so, to me, it works very well that way. Unfortunately, like I said, there's other issues. Like, for example, when it comes to brother, the Ted, you know, I love him dearly. I need to give him another project. I got 2 projects lined up. I think 2 projects lined up, maybe 1, but possibly 2. And he gets gift cards, you know, and it helps him with his prepping. I mean, right now he's probably stockpiling batteries because of the issues is he may be using LED lanterns. I mean, literally, have you ever thought winter time's coming? You better stock up with some extra LED lanterns. I did. I mean, as a prepper, you don't just sit there and say, oh, well, I got the food. Yes, but, you know, you got to sample your food, too, from time to time. Like, can you eat it cold? I mean, literally. I mean, I just got my electric bill the other day, and I couldn't believe how low it was. And it's getting lower and lower, and I'm realizing that the less technology you use, the less your electricity is. I mean, literally, I got a box fan going, my TV going, my Roku going, everything else is turned off. And then I have energy efficient light bulbs coming in. And to me, you know, when you decide to go ahead and make purchases, for example, you basically, well, yeah, I have a couple projects with my adopted brother, Ted. I'll give him a gift card. One is I need him to help me find a all-in-one, a B-Link all-in-one, or a which he can use Amazon, or a cheap laptop. I hear there's like a cheap laptop for $150, but I think the B-Link all-in-one would be better because you can just stack up a keyboard and a mouse. Because the old lady who bought the TV for her birthday, or Christmas, early Christmas present, it's gonna want, you know, that. And then another thing I heard recently was, that a lot of stuff right now, a lot of people are talking about, there's a little problem with Best Buy as a prepper. They message me and they say something like, so for example, okay, here's a kicker, right? So the Legion 2 Go, right? It's been re-released recently, right? Well, it's $729. They're going for $900 on Best Buy. So Best Buy has decided, well, people have to pay the consumer price, and so they're charging $900 for it currently. $900, right? So if you look at this, for example, right, this is how I price out things as a prepper, and you go up, and it's like right here, right? So they're like, okay, you can get the Legion Go S, the Z2 Go, right? The Z2 Go for $900. The Z2 Go S with the Ryzen 1Z Extreme is $980, right? But where is the Z2 Go S? The Z2 Go S, they just changed it and raised the price. So for $80 you can get the better processor. So a lot of people just go buy the better processor and call it a day. But it just tells you right there the pricing is they're now raising prices to cover their expenses during the pandemic, because what Best Buy is doing apparently, and this is something you guys got to look into yourself, is they're cutting corners by cutting employees out, because if employees can't pay, they'll raise their rates on everything and claim Lenovo said to do it when they're really doing it because there's not a lot of people working at Best Buy. I mean, I went in there and the two employees did not want to help me. I walked out the other day with a new, this was several months ago, a gaming computer, right? They were angry because they could have had the sale. Instead, I just went in there and I said, oh, I'll come back. So I came back about a week later and picked it up. And I said, I ordered it online because you guys wouldn't help me. They were angry. They were more interested in helping their computer finger on their phone. So as a prepper, you got to basically prep. And this is why Sister Zoe, if she's around, Zoe knows me too well, I'm a big tipper. Now, one of the people I talked to the other day, he's a great guy, he's a taxi driver. Zoe knows him. If Zoe's, but Zoe's somewhere in the world, I could say. And I love Zoe dearly as a sister. So basically the point is Zoe knows this guy. He's a great taxi driver. And he's like, you're going to go broke. And I said, look, if Zoe was here right now, hypothetically, on the island, I said, Zoe need the rides more. So I'm donating right now, right? And he's looking at it. It's one Benjamin, right? $100. He's like, you're going to go broke. No, I'm not, right? I gave my word. Well, the other day I went to the bank. I had to drop off $220 in cash for the TV, and the lady gets the deliveries in. She's gonna flip me some more money because I'm an asset to her delivering these items. So I said okay. So anyway, she's gonna flip me some more cash, right? So her TV comes in on Monday. Her other devices coming on Tuesday, and she's like, well, I'd like to sample the government's the Amazon basic soups. Well, right now, the Amazon basic soups are limiting you on soups. Anything you buy. I mean, the other day, I went to order another stack of ramen. You know what happened? Sorry, you've had your limit. So I said, hey, Chloe. Chloe went over and ordered it. She's like, okay, we're done. And then she ordered, because they're limiting. And so, instead of limiting it by household, Amazon's limiting it by purchaser. So, say you have one household, right? Say brother Ted has his mom, right? And his mom, and he puts her on Amazon Prime with her, and then he orders the same household. All of a sudden, he and her are getting free household shipping, right? He can order the stuff, and then she can order the stuff, and they can double it up, and they got double the food. So the prepping problem is you got to look at it from that point of view. That's why I find Amazon to be hilarious when they limit you on toilet paper. You just go, oh. And then, during the pandemic, they were like, they're limiting you on toilet paper, so you just go and buy one round of each. And then Amazon basically finds out, and then they're like, you're limited for the next 6 months. You can't buy this stuff. You're like, okay, so then you go to Target and you do the same thing. And then they're like, you're limited, and Target says it. And then you go to Walmart and you do that. And then, this is how I'm not a fake prepper. I know what I'm doing, okay? And so basically, when it comes to it, you got to ask yourself certain questions. Powdered milk, which by the way, I want to check on Nido because apparently Red Cow is very expensive, and Chloe was asking about Nido, and I was like, yeah, let's check Nido because Nido is not bad. Fortunately, Nido powdered milk is I'll have to ask my AI later about this, but Nido's on sale, so apparently you can get a 1.76 can. The bigger can's not available, so so if you need more Nido, you just gotta buy it. So it's like $12.99 a can, and anyways, I wanted to share that with you. Let me take my glasses off for a second. I don't want reflection. I'm doing some banking business real quick on something. So Anyway, so basically as a prepper, you got to ask yourself, are you in the prepping loop right now, or are you not? Because frankly, if you're not, and that's the other thing, you have to literally, and I want to give you some advice about prepping too today. One is you need to basically, you got to basically utilize what you have. So for example, Chloe's utilizing what she has. And I love Chloe dearly, by the way. Chloe's awesome. She's literally doing better. I'm proud of her. She literally came to me and she says, what do we need? Shampoo, conditioner, shaving gel, razor blades, light bulbs, toilet paper, paper towels, coffee. Freezer's full. So, and then she said rib roast, and I said, well, we'll have to come to the rib roast discussion on Monday because, for once, I want to say this to you guys. I would love rib roast, but, and I think Sister Pee Wee, if she's watching this, she'd be proud of me too. Rib roast is not in the budget. We cannot afford rib roast due to the pandemic, and I call this not a pandemic, but due to this crisis. This is what we should be calling it. It is a crisis. And so, the crisis is what it is. And so, technically, I wanted to share that with you all. So, yeah. So, anywho. So, the bottom line is, currently, we are doing very well. As I said to Chloe, I will boot up my desktop in the office later and make modification to the spreadsheet I'm working on for her. But the thing is right now, I said to Chloe, we have to look either at hams or turkeys. And right now, oh yeah, that reminds me. How much is a turkey anyways going through that one store? We may just need to buy the turkey this time. And I know Chloe's like, well, do we have to? So there's a certain store I go through for affordable foods. And I told Chloe we could probably get a deal on food, which currently our rib roasts, I told Chloe, rib roast is $15.99 a pound. You gotta buy it in a bulk. So what I was telling Chloe is we can look into lamb, which is more lamb, or we can do turkey. And so a whole turkey currently is $1.69 a pound, so it's not on sale. So yeah, there you go. So unless you want Jenny O is $1.69 a pound, and then yeah, so Butterball is, yeah, so anywho. So basically what we do is we put in whole turkey, for example, and it'll pull up a whole turkey. So here we go. So you get a whole turkey, you get 4 types of turkeys. You get Jenny O, $1.69 a pound. Jenny O, yeah, so they got 2 brands of turkey. So let's just put this one in. I just want to see this. Add 1. So you're looking at $37 for a turkey. Hold on. I'm going to do this. Add. And then I'm just adding because I can actually change it later. And then you go to here. Alright, so it individually charges it already. So, for example, 22-pound turkey is going to be $37. A 12 to 14 is $23. And a turkey 16 to 18 is $30. So you can see turkey's not on sale currently. But what if I wanted whole lamb? Whole lamb is cheaper. Thing is, I can do lamb for Thanksgiving, and I'd be happy too. Lamb. Let's just plop that in there, right? So a whole lamb, I have a lamb already, but let's, for the sake of the argument, it's $2.31. So you're getting approximately 40 pounds of lamb. Well, let's just talk as a prepper for a second on this, okay? So, for example, boneless ribeye, $15.39 a pound, $269.33 for a block that is approximately 17.5 pounds. Now, if I go cheaper and I go with the $13.09 for an 18-pound block, I got to cut myself. That's $235.62. Now, if I go down to the 20 to 22-pound turkey, it'll cost us $37.18. Now, if I go with the Norbest turkey, that'll come to $23.66. Now, if I go with the, by the way, they're all $1.69 a pound. The turkey right now, 16 to 18 pound, $30.42. Now, if I go down to the Genio turkey, 14 to 16, it's $27.04. Whereas the whole lamb, which is 40 pounds, is approximately $231. Now, what have I said? Ham, right? Whole ham, right? Let's just see. Whole ham, right? Do they have whole ham here? It looks like they don't have any ham. Isn't that interesting? So they don't even have ham. Oh. Yes, they do. I just, the load was there. Okay, so you got 108 items for ham. So, for example, a boneless pork leg. See, 16 pounds of boneless pork leg. So you can have a pork leg right there. Yeah. So you know that's not bad if you want to pay $2.69 a pound. We'll just add that because I'm curious of the price. So as a prepper, you got to always look at your pricing, and we'll go to that, and then we'll see if there's any actual whole legs or just that, because every time you turn around, they're telling me that there's not much in the way of bulk. But 16-pound leg of ham is not bad. Yeah. Roasted peanuts. Yeah, that's really a ham, people. See, this is why I laugh at times. Anyways, we should continue this when we can. So they do bacon and bacon. Here we go. Right there. Half a spiral slice cooked ham. Alright, let's add that to the thing of the mixture because I have to scroll down for you guys. As a prepper, I have a website that does prepping for everything in the bulk. So, yeah, alright. So let's just go over to my shopping cart so we can show you. So currently, boneless spiral slice cut ham is $33.63 for 16. That's uncooked. Sorry, that's cooked and smoked. A boneless pork leg, just the whole pork leg without, you gotta cut it yourself. It's like basically a giant pork roast. It's 16 pounds. It's $43. So you gotta ask yourself as a prepper, what type of meals are you going to plan for Thanksgiving? A lot of people are going to be pissed off this Thanksgiving due to the fact that they're going to be basically, we got a viewer here, you can poach a turkey for free. It's not considered poaching, sir, if you have to pay for the license and you have to pay for the shotgun shell. You got to remember, people, that's usually a 4, 10, or 20 gauge shotgun that's used for turkey hunting. You don't want the 12 gauge, and those of you 12 gauge turkey shells. And so poaching is not considered free. It's actually, poaching is illegal. So welcome to the channel, S Driver. Good to see you. So basically, a lot of people this Thanksgiving and Christmas, if the government doesn't reopen, I'm guaranteeing that the more the government's shut down, and this is only a gut feeling I have, okay? So Sister Pee Wee, if you're watching this, please admit, I'm going to say this time around, it's gut feeling, okay? Government's shut down, right? They're waiting till Tuesday. If everything goes according to plan on Tuesday, it's going to get worse. Then, on top of that, what happens? Well, after Tuesday, we'll find out if the government reopens or not, right? And then, what happens after that? Well, then let's just say they keep it closed. People are going to be starting to be pissed off, and it's going to stack up in bitterness. Now, it's going to be stacked up in bitterness for 2 reasons, okay? This Christmas, okay, let's just go and play it out by ear, okay, for a prepper. As a prepper, you're supposed to prep for Christmas. Christmas is the time of year you give gifts to holidays and gifts and happiness and yada, yada, yada. But what if you can't, right? What if you won't? So here's the kicker. What if the American people turned around, right, after Tuesday and they voted? And they're like, okay, we got 12 months to go and let's see how the Republicans play this, right? And all of a sudden, it gets to Thanksgiving. And let's just say the government is still shut down. The American people are going to be pissed off when they can't afford turkey and they're going to lose their house because of it. And they're taking, right now, the latest report I saw through my email this morning, which I do use email, and people emailed me and they said, you got to get this out, is people are taking loans from the banks just to survive. But how long is the loan going to last? Until they take out another loan. They're going to refinance their house, and they're going to have the government is not going to allow the mortgage to stop, all because the government's not working. So think about it. People are sitting there panicked. They're panicked about their holiday. They're panicked about Thanksgiving if they celebrate. They're panicked about Christmas. Now you guys could sit there and say, Oh, well, this is where you gotta prep. You guys didn't listen to me. You guys just turned around and said, Kumbaya, zippity doo dah, life is great, I'm a gravy bone. Instead, you're looking at me now going, oh my god, the disabled weirdo's the one that basically was telling the truth. Now pay attention here. If Thanksgiving goes away the dodo bird because people cannot afford to go and get food stamps. First, they cut the food stamps off. Food stamps, usually if you're not going to a food bank, right? Food banks are not being strained. So a food bank gets strained because no one can go. And then a lot of people are going to be strained. I'm going to have to place an order on Monday, and I'm going to have to tell you on Monday because I always have mine delivered in, okay? Because, but here's the kicker of the food bank problem, okay? And Sister Zoe knows this already by the back of her hand, that food banks going to be stressed, tight and thin. She went with me a couple times. She never got food herself, but, when she pushed me around, it was great. Well, she didn't push me around. She was like bossy a bit, but I love Zoe no matter what, okay? She means the world to me. I hope wherever she's at, she's happy. So, and then maybe one day me and her can bury the hatchet and have some Kirkland Supremo coffee. Yeah, so, anywho. Basically, here's the kicker. So, as Zoe would say, a lot of pissed off Americans are going to be pissed off because they went 10 months. And, you hear these people say, on day one, I'm going to lower your price of groceries. Groceries is an old-fashioned word. Price of food. What's skyrocketing? Adopted brother Ted's complaining about banana prices. Well, thank God I don't eat bananas. And every banana I get is usually already rotten from the food bank. So I keep telling the food bank's been throwing in rotten things. The other day I made up some fried potatoes and onions. 2/3 of the potatoes were rotten, and 1/3 of the onions were rotten. So they're giving rotten food. So just to be safe, okay, on the same subject. But, and the argument's sake, the food bank is going to be stressed more, right? And right now, I put in a request for pork chops. We get like 4 pork chops a week. We got a package of hot dogs and a package of hamburger, and that's it. And the special vegetable bag, they just pick apples from people's little apple trees and put them in there so they don't go to waste, which is a good idea, but get the idea is how many people need 2/3 apples? You'll be crapping out more apples than anything, but it's food. Now, here's the kicker. People are going to be pissed off. They go to the voting on Tuesday and the government's still shut down and they're like, oh, we got to protect the Epstein files. We can't do it. We're going to keep it delayed, right? Okay, that's great. Well, I don't care what you do, okay? I just found out my stepdad, who I love dearly, who I haven't talked to him, and I was extending an olive branch to him, is his house. He had, after 18 years, he lost his house in Woodby Island. I love my dad dearly. I've always loved my dad, and we had a falling out. He's old school. I think Catholic. He never told me, but he always held on to the fact that he anyways, yeah. And so the American people these days, they he lost his retirement home. He sold it after 18 years. Probably paid off, but still. Thing is he probably couldn't cover the mortgage or the taxes on 2 houses, because I looked it up. He still owns his other house. He had his retirement home on the island, then he had his main house. And his main house is still available, but still, I'm going to send him a letter. I just got to spend the money for the postage. I want to make sure my dad's okay. 77, could have had a heart attack for all I know. My adopted dad. I have a father-in-law and then I'm my adopted dad. My adopted dad's name's Roy. Now, when it comes to Thanksgiving, let's just say the government shut down all through Thanksgiving. There's going to be a lot of pissed off government agencies. You're going to see TSA agents quitting. You're going to see, it's my gut feeling, you're going to see airport flight people quitting. They're going to work Uber and everything else to make a living. And they're not going to go back because they're not going to get paid. 2 months, 3 months, what if it goes 6 months? I'm sorry to say, but government, I think the government wants to shut down, but if they do, they're going to have to bring in the military. There is military people that did air traffic controllers, carriers, fighter plane pilots, air bases. So it's not like it's the end of the world. Now, let me tell you a story about Christmas. Now, I don't like talking about Christmas, but I will. You see, hold on a sec. Here we go. There we go. So I just mixed up some coffee. I want to show you how I do it, so you guys can understand. Where's the lid here? I need the lid. We'll just do this so I can find it. Alright, so what I do is I take the coffee once it's done in the pot and brewing, and I put it in this. I literally put it in this. I got 2 of them. So I always keep my coffee warm. So in the morning, it's still hot and piping, I just grab a cup out of the thermos because it's better to be safe than sorry. Alright, so back to Christmas. A lot of you preppers out there think, oh, it'll get better, we'll get back pay, and we'll be back on top. You'd think. But how has that worked out for 31 days so far? Anyways, the point is as a prepper, you got to ask yourself, how bad is it going to get? Government wants to shut down. They did. They don't want to release the Epstein files, supposedly. Okay. Then you got the American people turning around, and they're losing. What if air traffic controllers all walk off and tell the government to F off? Then how are the planes are going to be? I mean, literally. You got airlines begging for the government to reopen. The government's like, we got to protect Epstein. Apparently. Don't quote me because I don't want the government kicking down my door, dragging me out because apparently, I don't know anything. So I don't. Maybe it's simpler. Then you got the government that shut down, right? You got the labor unions, and my stepbrother, Ted, he laughed the other day in email. He goes, oh, they're going to open again. How's it working out for you, brother Ted? Last time I checked, they're still closed down. And he was the one that told me these videos need to be made due to the fact to talk about food stamps. I mean, literally, food stamps and prepping. I mean, you know how many people in red states are hurting worse than blue states? Blue states, a lot of blue states, they've prepped. Red states, they live paycheck to paycheck. And they cannot support it. Like this guy here, a S driver. Poaching, yeah, if you want a free turkey, do it. And then the game warden, maybe the game warden in the state's still working. They can arrest you and haul you off. So, is it really free when you're serving time for poaching a turkey? Come on, man. Is it really logistical? Yeah. I mean, so, the bottom line is prepping. I mean, I've told you for months, this is what you prep for. You put away stuff. You don't, listen, I got batteries. I got lanterns. I got everything set to go. I also got, I spent a few dollars last night sending a gift card out to my adopted brother, Ted, because I needed him to do a project for me. Yeah. In the end, it works. Yeah. In the end, it works. And it works because it works. And so, to me, you got to ask yourself, so basically, the thing is 42 million people don't have food stamps. 20 million or so people are going to lose their Medicaid. And, I mean, literally, look. I mean, I would like to see the numbers, okay? I'd really like to see the numbers of these 20 million and 42 million before I make a judgment, okay? Because I'm not going to make a judgment and find out I'm wrong. What I want to make is to say to you, 42 million? I saw videos last night at 5 in the morning, right? This morning. Well, the kids are going hungry. Wow, the kids are going hungry because their family may be so poor that they have to work 4 jobs just to make ends meet. And the kid, they get food stamps to support them. And the food stamps are gone. Now, all these people are like, well, if you want food stamps or SNAP, then you should get off your lazy butt and go to work. Go to work. You should get off your lazy butt and go to work. Wow. So, well, that means that there's a lot of people out there that don't support food stamps and don't support the children that are going hungry. I mean, if my dad and I talked face to face, my dad would say, my mother, she never had food stamps. That's one thing she never did. It was a waste of time to go down to the welfare office. She worked one job. She put food on the table. She got deals through the meat department at Fred Meyer's. And she put food on the table. She literally put food on the table for one person, for me and my sister. My sister got a job. My sister got pregnant at 20 years old and had her first son. By the way, my sister died at 52, so my nephew would be like 34 right now. So 34 years old, okay? My nephew. And guess what? He's probably putting food on the table and supporting a wife maybe, but the point is, think about it. So my family, we never took food stamps. My aunt and uncle, they never took food stamps. My other aunt and uncle, they didn't take food stamps. Nowadays, my cousin, I think my cousin Dinky, I think the reason she's not talking right now is, like I said, I said something about Charlie Kirk. Like, no one listens to me anyways on my YouTube channel. But then, we have sympathy for a guy who's got assassination, which I do. I have more sympathy for people. They shouldn't be murdered just because of their opinions. It'd be like someone coming and murdering me because I have an opinion that you guys need to prep, and you didn't prep, now you're going hungry. I mean, do I deserve to be plucked because of that? No. Then thank you. There you go. Point is there's a lot of people in the building. Let me just tell you what's going on, okay? I love all the people in the building, even the ones that wronged me, okay? There's an alcoholic drug user, right? Or a couple of them. One doesn't get food stamps. They bring in too much, right? They could, but, they can't. But they know they're not going to be evicted because, well, unless the government does, this building doesn't have reserve funds, then, well, it's a different story, right? Well, we're not going to go there. But right now, people lost their food stamps. People are losing their Medicaid. Soon they're going to lose HUD, and soon they're going to lose USDA. And USDA is already covering the SNAP program. And yet, let me put it this way. Our farmers are getting shafted, literally. But you know what? Our farmers, in my opinion, and I'm sorry to say this, for the love of God, they deserve it. You voted for a guy that decided, he wanted to do whatever. Now you're basically eating the cost. Now, to me, I think, we can still fix this. But the point is, everyone has regrets. But the reason I say, farmers getting shafted is look what happened. I mean, if you go to Costco, most of their beef is from Canada. You didn't know that probably. Half of it's Canadian, half of it's American. Now look at Walmart. Walmart's half of it's Canadian and half of it's Brazilian. Now we're buying Argentinian beef, which, by the way, could have a lot more diseases, which they don't care because the FDA doesn't care if you get Argentinian beef. The FDA doesn't care if you end up with mad cow disease. I mean, if my brother ended up with mad cow disease and started mooing, my adopted brother Ted, he'd be laughing. Moo! But the thing is, think about it. Farmers out here, they got shafted. They literally are getting shafted. And yet, people say, oh, do you have sympathy? Yeah, I do. Thing is, if you're going to be supporting the farmers, you got to support the farmers in America first. America first, in my opinion. But I'm not sitting here saying, oh, America first for everything. No. Now, a lot of people are sitting there tooting their horn going, yes, we don't have to have the Medicaid thing anymore. We can't pay something. The red states never paid for transgender health care. The blue states do, but the blue states had to put the brakes on it because apparently there's too many people claiming that their tax dollars is paying for so-called sex changes. Now, let me put it to you this way. Most of the money that we pay in blue states go to red states, underpoverished red states like Alabama, Mississippi, those states. And it's true. And so why should, people are saying, why? Well, the government shut down. Why should we pay taxes? Because if you don't pay taxes, then, for example, they're like, well, we're already paying over exuberant charges, and then our phone bill we never get. And when we do get our phone bill, it says this communication charge, and in the bottom it's like something about Lifeline or something. So everyone who buys a phone in this country that's got to pay out, even prepaid. Like I paid my bill last night on this. This is expensive, $65. I actually went into the invoice just to see. I'm paying for Lifeline too. So every one of you is paying for the Lifelines. And a lot of people say if we got rid of all these damn fees, we would have more money in our pocket. We wouldn't be allowing sponges. That's what they say, by the way. I'm reiterating what they say. And then they don't get a free phone. I mean, literally. I mean, literally, I mean, basically. And then to me, here's what I think, okay? If you're going to be giving Lifeline phones, give a basic flip phone because they're cheap. You don't need much text, and you can use a lot of phone minutes, and you can cut out the data because most flip phones and elderly. I mean, I saw 3 elderly the other day at a clinic, and they all have flip phones. And they're like, "You youngins," and I'm like, "Chloe," and Chloe's like, "Yeah, would you show this lady and gentleman my backup phone?" I said, "I'd rather have that than this." And they smiled because I said, "This is what needs to be given." Unfortunately, I said, "This is only used as an emergency wireless hotspot," which means I have the batteries that's needed specifically for that stuff. So to me, it is what it is. And so to me, you got to ask yourself, what is the benefits of expenses? You have to cut corners. I mean, literally, the other day I was talking to Chloe about movies, and currently, I think it's only on, let me look. Currently, I think the movies I'm looking at are Tubi. They moved from Roku and Pluto to Tubi. And I thought, wow, Roku to Tubi, isn't that great news? And Chloe's like, that is great news. I'm like, it's great news for me because I don't have to worry. So, I mean, to me, I find it to be very, very good. And so, and then people say to me, well, what about Howdy? Howdy, I don't know anything about Howdy. And so, I mean, literally that's the thing. But, I told Chloe we have to literally, cut corners. And that's something I wanted to tell you about. I love all of you. And yet, we have to cut corners. Because of... Yeah. We have to cut corners where we can. Yeah. Because if we can't, what's the point, right? So, okay, so currently it's on Tubi. So the first one's on Tubi. Yeah, see, I love Tubi. Tubi's great. Second one's on Tubi. Yes, the second one. I can watch both. The third one is a rental. Can you believe that? So finally the third one's rental. Yeah. Yeah. And so, and then, yeah, so Paramount has the first 2, and yet my family's like, are you going to pay for Paramount? And it's like, we have to basically be, cut corners and cut financing. So, for example, you don't need to basically buy Paramount unless you want it, or Hulu or something. My father-in-law was talking about cutting Hulu, Netflix out because, I mean, he wants to downsize. He's paying like $120 for streaming. I'm paying $0 right now. I'm paying. I got a Roku device and I'm running Tubi mostly. Yeah, that's my channel right now. I'm going to is Tubi. And I like the commercials, and, well, not really commercials, but I put on mute from commercials, but you get the idea. Another person posted today, Gerald Bonachita, you shouldn't cut corners. Yes, you have to. In this day and age, you have to cut corners. I mean, think about it. We're talking about prepping. People are cutting corners all the time. They're buying things that they don't need, Gerald. It's Gerald, right? Yeah, it's Gerald. So, Gerald, people are cutting corners all the time. They're cutting corners. People can't afford things. Look at my father. I was just talking about my stepdad. I keep an eye on him, even though we have bad blood. He after 18 years, he had to cut corners and sell his house, his retirement house, because he couldn't pay approximately, by the way I figured it, $12,000 a year for property taxes and 2 houses he owned. So he had to cut the corners. Which means if you have 2 houses, you're doing better than most people, which is... yeah, so, you know how it is, but thing is, you have to cut corners. That's the problem. You sit here and you come onto my channel and you're like, you can't cut corners. Yeah, you can't. People have to. I mean, literally, what if everyone leaves and TSA, not TSA, the air traffic controllers, Gerald leaves. Then what happens, huh? Then they all leave and the plane stops. Well, the airlines are begging for the government to reopen. They're losing money. Well, I don't fly. I won't fly. I hate flying. So technically... it doesn't affect me. To my adopted brother, Ted, yeah, it affects him. Because, but Also, let me tell you, I want to say something because I know my brother Ted, he'll email me and say something like, you know, I guess Sister Zoe's still around. I just got an email from her. Yeah, amen, praise the Lord. So, anyways, where was I? So air traffic controllers go down. Let's just say they all leave, right? The government keeps extending it, right? And they don't through November, and there's no money, right? And it goes into December, and then Christmas is crap, and then the Republicans are getting blamed for a bad Thanksgiving, a bad Christmas, and bad New Year's, right? And it still continues. And all these air traffic controllers leave. The problem is Amazon's going to now have to think, do we ship everything by truck? By the way, they could. Or do they ship it by train? Think about it. So then all of a sudden the Amazon, the Targets, the Walmarts, all your orders that go by plane is delayed. And what is Amazon going to do? Hire their own air traffic controllers to run their own Amazon airports? They could. But then that would mean a private company. You see, some companies could do that. But right now Amazon's basically going to be hurting. Now back to food stamps. Food stamps basically pays $9 billion a month for food stamps. That's 108 billion dollars a year. Okay, 108 billion. Grocery stores, Target, Amazon, Walmart. You're not going to get a cut of that pie today. They're now basically panic mode. Why do you think they're trying to give deals on things like buy it again programs and so forth and so on? Because they can't afford. I mean, literally. And then Best Buy is hurting. So Best Buy is having deals. And Target's having deals. And Amazon's having deals. And Walmart's having deals. They're all having deals, but no one's buying. They're sitting there and they're like, our warehouse is full. What's going to happen? Eventually you're going to see news articles where Walmart's cutting corners by firing people or laying them off or furloughing them. Same goes to Target. And I heard Amazon wants to get rid of starting with 30,000 people. They want to go automated. 30,000. 30,000. 30,000. Yeah, 30,000 employees. Yeah. Which reminds me, I do gotta ask, because I haven't checked on it lately. I know Zoe was working on a second book. Did it ever get published? Because last time I saw, it was only book one, which I read. Let's see. I guess yeah, let me see here. Yeah, here we go. So there's only one book apparently right now. I may have to order another one, but I wanted a hardbound book. But Zoe, she's just like, yeah. So currently, yeah, she's only got one. Yeah, there we go. So right there. So Kindle version and yeah. Yeah. Yep, so anyways, it's what it is. I mean, yeah. But anywho, I hope she's okay. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say. But anyways, basically as a prepper, we're not out of the woods yet. This is just the beginning of a bad holiday, I think. And unless we can hope like heck it gets fixed. I mean, I can pull up the news article cycle right now. I usually don't. People ask me time and time again to get ground news, and I'm like, why? Why would I want ground news? I mean, literally. The point is, there's a lot of people hurting, and, if you're not prepping properly, yeah. So anyways, let me see here. So let me just see here. Legal terms, well, yeah. So apparently they're talking about all 50 states and food stamps shut down. Okay, cool. Yeah, same. I only get 24 measly dollars, so that's ahead. And then it says here, the news is we're preparing to go to Nigeria. Wow. So A guy who claims we want peace, we're going to Nigeria now, yeah. Yes. It's not interesting. Yeah, so. Yep, you see, there you go. People are all worried. They're like, well, we have food stamps going, and then, you have this thing with war. Give me 1 second. I gotta use the restroom. I'm gonna continue. Alright. So, anyways, back to the story. So, what we need right now is we need for you guys to basically keep prepping. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. Food stamps, with the food stamps, basically, if this doesn't make the Democrats crack, the Democrats are literally basically giving a recipe and a knife to the Republican Party to carve up the benefits. I mean, literally, they're literally saying, "Oh yeah, try it. We're not gonna open the government without a clean CR. We're not gonna negotiate the Epstein files, and we're not negotiating healthcare." But you know what? A lot of these, I've heard from a lot of people. Chloe loves this thing called anonymous news. A lot of people are literally talking about behind scenes where if they don't make a deal to get healthcare restored, they're not going to have a Republican Party in 2026. And I'm thinking to myself, you always hear this news right before an election. Let me tell you. Right now, if the government stays shut down, then there's two things that could happen, and that is you guys need to prep, and you need to prep. Now, it could be the collapse of the country, too. That's something I've been trying to tell you guys to prep for a while, which is, if the government keeps shut down with no one's health care and food stamps in sight, this could literally collapse the entire world, and that means a Great Depression. And you can say, "Oh well, you're telling us this black sheep thing, the black swan of it." Well, I'm telling you, if you don't get the food stamps contained back on track with a clean continuing, you see, the Supreme Court turns around, or not Supreme Court, the president has legal reasons to go to the judge, the appellate court, and say, "Can you clarify this?" The thing is, without a clean resolution, there is no money for food stamps yet. They're already arguing the Democrats want to basically use the impoverished people against the Republicans to get and then say, "Look, your Republican Party cut your food stamps out. Come on our side, we'll give it back to you in 2026." By the way, that's the message they're trying to do, and they're like, there are these people where there's open enrollment right now, right? And the open enrollment started, and people said, I think it was Eric Swalwell, he was talking about a family of four was paying $56 a month for subsidies. Really? That's interesting. I've never seen someone pay $56 a month. Last time I heard, my father-in-law, when he had insurance before these subsidies covered him in the state of Ohio, his insurance plan was like $1,800 a month, okay? Then it went to zero. When I asked him about it recently, he says he doesn't care. But the thing is how do you go from family of four for $56 to a family of four going up 300% to $356? It doesn't contain water. Fortunately, this is why you got to turn around and ask yourself the numbers, the true numbers. I mean, literally, if they want to sit there and say we don't care about health care, fine. Then what happens when the whole black swan event happens in the country? I mean, we could be going to a point where the entire world gets collapsed and they have to reset because too many people are spending money foolishly. I mean, look at the U.S. government. And I'm not saying the U.S. government's spending foolishly. I'm saying look at it from the point of view that, you got $109 billion. Pay attention here. So, I'm going to ask, actually, I'll just use the calculator here because it'll be easy. Okay, so, it goes like this. So, we got $108 billion a year, right? 108 billion dollars a year, or no, yeah, hold on, not 1.8 billion, or hold on, it's let's see, 108, billion dollars a year times 12. That's nearly $1.3 trillion going out for food stamps alone for an entire year. $1.3 trillion. You gotta ask yourself. Now, yeah, that's about right? Can we afford $1.3 trillion for food stamps? I mean, literally, I don't think we could. I mean, literally, the food stamp should be temporary anyway, like 3 months every 36 months, what they say, unless you're disabled, and then it's indefinitely. But I mean, think about it, right? $1.3 trillion minimum. Then that's not including the budget for Medicaid. I mean, they claim they cut out $900 billion over 10 years. That's $100 billion a year. Well, what is the? I mean, I'm not going to go dig it up and go down the rabbit hole, but you get the idea. American Republicans and Republicans that pay their taxes, like my cousin and cousin-in-law, they don't want to pay for people's health care. I mean, literally, when they live in a house that they got to pay for, and then one day they find out they can't afford their house because the property taxes are too high. Then they're stuck out on the streets living in a tent or a little travel trailer, which they may or may not be able to afford 20 years from now because of inflation. I mean, think about it. Point is there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I heard the only reason why whoops, sorry about that. I hope that didn't get triggered because Instagram, oh, great. Hold on. I saw something about Donald Trump. Oh, okay, we didn't do it, yeah. I always watch these videos, and anyway, so basically what I'm trying to say to you is that, how do I say it? That the American people need to realize that if they're going to survive, they got to see the numbers. I mean, literally, the American people turn around. I mean, literally. I mean, he's literally, I mean, look at the cost of everything. The cost of everything is too damn expensive, and the American people are sitting there wondering, that's funny. Anyways, so basically the American people are now looking at the numbers. And, the air traffic controllers, if they all left, the government would have to scramble to get the military to take care of it. If they can't do it, airlines go out of business. Now you say, well, how's this Black Swan event happen? Black Swan event happens because, A, food stamps don't get pumped out. Now, let's put it this way. The grocery stores are subsidized by about $1.3 trillion in subsidies every year. Yeah. Now you take that away, more or less people are going to be coming from the grocery store or going to the grocery store. Then that means if you take out 20 million people's health care That's 20 million people that the government's not subsidizing hospitals. See, we're a socialistic country and people just don't know it. Yeah. And then you have, the collapse. And that just starts bringing down things. If airplanes can't travel, then Amazon can't ship your stuff out because they claim like 24-hour delivery from California or something. I mean, I mean, what Amazon's doing, everyone, is they're building hubs everywhere. And they're shipping everything to the nearest hub. And then the hub picks it up and then brings it to you. So, I mean, I've ordered coffee. It'll be here tomorrow or Tuesday. Fortunately, it usually comes 24 hours, but with the delays, Amazon's cutting corners in the drivers. It may be 3 days. And now you got to cut corners by basically buying only the essentials. Now, so basically when you think about cutting corners, you think you're going to cut corners. And that means a lot of people sit there and say, well, I can't afford whatever. So, for example, I was just asking Chloe, she said to me, you want me to pick up a lotto ticket? I don't think we can afford a lotto ticket. Besides that, the Quran and the Bible says thou shalt not gamble. And thou shalt not drink. So, you get the idea, right? So, point is once the collapse starts, people are going to see they're not going to have a decent Christmas. So what are they going to do? If we even have voting in 2026, which we will, the thing you're going to ask yourself is not about the military, but you're going to ask yourself, how's it affecting you for Christmas and Thanksgiving? Yeah. I mean, literally, my father, Roy, who I love dearly, he used to love turkey and ham and stuff for Christmas, Thanksgiving. If they took that away, he'd probably be voting Democrat, I think. But we're independent. Problem is he didn't do too bad in his retirement. Yeah, I can tell you that much at least. But the thing is what are we going to do for the future? I don't know. Anywho, I'm going to, like I said, I gotta finish this coffee. I gotta clean my coffee cup. I gotta get dinner prepped. I gotta sit down. I'm 2 episodes behind on a TV thing that I'm watching on YouTube. It looks kind of interesting, but let's just say video game reviews are coming in handy more and more because it tells you what you should and shouldn't buy. And, yeah, so technically it's, weighing down the thing. So, so for example, it is what it is. I also got to load up my desktop for a few minutes for a spreadsheet I need to work on. Whoops, I screwed that up. Alright, so there. Yeah, so every time it turns around, it's getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, so anywho, with that said, everyone, I hope you guys have a great day. And like I said, be prepared to see what happens. I mean, we have 26 days until Thanksgiving. Let's keep the positive train up. But if the government's still shut down at Thanksgiving, then you got to ask yourself a few questions. Who are they hurting most? You, the consumer that wants to have a Thanksgiving dinner and may not be able to? I mean, I remember when my mom grew up, raised me, I should say. When I was growing up one year, we had a giant chicken for Thanksgiving dinner. Why? Because that's what we could afford. Think about it. You may have to go to the whole chicken, which reminds me, that'd be a good idea to look into real quick. Whole chicken. I think that's like, 99 cents or something. I may be able to get a couple of those. Maybe. I want to check that out real quick because, but thing is you got to look at it, what you can afford and what you can buy. And if you sit there and say, well, I mean, food banks are going to be stressing right now. As of right now, the food banks, Saturdays and Wednesdays where we're at, they're stressing completely. Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted a whole beef just to be funny. Oh, yeah, here we go. Whole body fryers, yeah. And so you got, yeah. So apparently a whole body fryer. Let me just go in here and look. So a whole chicken, a little whole chicken is approximately $8. So there you go. See, $8. So $8. Yes. There you go. Or $6. I think I'd rather have the $8 one. But 3.5 pound chickens, get a couple of those. That could be dinner too. So think about it. I'm prepping and cutting corners where I can. But it's the thought that counts. So with that said, everyone, just remember, Gerald here came in and says you shouldn't cut corners. You have to. In this day and age, are you going to cut corners when the government? He may not even be from this country. But anyways, peace be with him. Anyways, thing is, you got to cut corners because otherwise, people around. I mean, look. Like I said, we got drug addicts and drug users, elderly. They're all relying on food stamps and Medicaid. If you cut it off all of a sudden, you're going to be screwed. And yeah, so technically it is what it is. So with that said, everyone, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great afternoon. I need to prep dinner and then settle in for game time today and tomorrow. So yeah, so like I said, you should have been prepping, but you still have a chance. Even though it may be hard to prep without any money, you can still try to do something. And that is where my channel will come in, because you guys all think, you know, the supposed weirdo fake prepper doesn't know what they're talking about. Maybe not, but look who's got the food. Where are you guys sitting, You guys are sitting at, I mean, even Dr. Phil's got like 30-year supply of groceries because he's worried about the apocalypse and he's got a bunker. Think about it. They showed him. These doomsday preppers like him. He's got his own doomsday prepper. I mean, not that I want to say anything about it, but you get the idea. Preppers. There's celebrities out there that have this type of stuff. They're prepping because of it. They know what's coming down the pipe. And so think about it. What's going to happen, So, yeah, do I blame the Republicans? Yes. Do I blame the Democrats? Yes. Do I blame the Democrats more? No. I blame them equally because they're not coming to the table. They could have came to the deal, made a deal, but instead they don't want to make a deal. They want to basically say, well, we own the House, the Senate, and the White House. Okay, well, you got all three branches. Ram it through. Oh, the nuclear option's the only thing. Okay, whatever. In the meantime, you know where we're going with this. So, with that said, everyone, please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestions. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's wholesome fun for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs, your service bunnies. And of course, my service bunny's gone, so I got this little stuffy that remembers my bun. It's about the same size. My bunny was about this size anyways. So, anyways, with that said, everyone, please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestions. And leave the comments nice always. All right? Thank you, everyone, and God